Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I hope it's fine. Know that you are in 5th grade. We will learn about humans and the environment, about the water cycle and its impact on the earth, and the survival of living things. By learning this, I hope that you can take care of the environment around you well. For the survival of living things, because weather is very influential in our life. One of the important elements in the environment is weather. Water is indispensable for life on Earth. What is the weather cycle like? Well, the hydrological cycle of water cycle is a water circulation that describes the movement of water molecules, or H2O, from the atmosphere to the earth and vice versa, which never stop so as to form a circular series of water molecules traveling of earth called a cycle. Human activities that affect the water cycle are illegal logging by humans that result in the destruction of the water cycle. If this is done, it can cause flooding and landslides, so the soil cannot absorb water. In addition, the presence of asphalt also inhibits the process of rainwater seeping into the ground due to asphalting and road construction, which can also affect the water cycle. There are three main processes of the water cycle that you need to know about. 1. Evaporation or transpiration. Evaporation is used to show the process of evaporation of water from sea, rivers, lakes, and other bodies of water. While transpiration is the release of water molecules as a result of metabolism for plants. In principle, both are the same because it is a process of changing liquids into gas that will gather in the atmosphere. 2. Condensation is the process of changing water from gas to liquid, or we are familiar with the term condensation, which is the opposite of evaporation or evaporation. In the hydrological cycle, condensation occurs in the atmosphere due to change in temperature and pressure. As a result of condensation, water will gather to form black cones that are ready to fall as rain when it reaches saturation point. 3. Precipitation is a product of condensation. Precipitation can occur due to cooling and the addition of water vapor, so that the water that forms could reach a saturation point. The more water vapor that forms in the atmosphere, the more and heavier the water droplets in the cooled. When the cooled are not able to accommodate the amount of water that is formed. Then the water will be released in the from rain. The rain cycle or cycle can be divided into three types based on the length and duration of the molecular movement process, namely 1. Short cycle. The short water cycle begins with the evaporation of sweet water into the atmosphere. At a certain height, water vapor will condense, which will form cools that are unable to withstand the load of water will experience participation and rain will or so that water falls back to in the sea. 2. Medium cycle. As happens in the short cycle, the cycle is happening when the seawater evaporates. The difference is that the water vapor will be carried by the wind to the land. At a certain altitude, water vapor condenses into cooled, then become rain that falls on land. Shipped into the ground, some will be absorbed by plant roots, some will be carried away by surface water flow through rivers and ditches. The water will pass through various water channels that will bring it back to the sea. 3. Long cycle. The long cycle begins with the evaporation and condensation of seawater. The cools that form are carried by the wind to higher ground in the land sea, while the cold that formed earlier were combined with water vapor from the evaporation of lakes and rivers. As well as plant transpiration. Due to the influence to altitude, water vapor dissolves a layer of cool air and turns into snow, so that snow falls in winter and also from icebergs in the high mountains. Icebergs in the mountains will slide to a lower place due to the force of gravity. The chunks of ice that slide under the force of gravity are called glaciers. Glaciers exposed to high temperatures then melt and flow through inland water that return to the sea. I can be explained briefly that the water in the sea, rivers, and lakes evaporates due to the heat of the sun. The water vapor collects in the air. Over time, the air cannot accommodate water vapor. Then the water vapor will become water drops and form clouds. Then the next drop of water will fall into water. Rainwater falling on land or in the sea will shift to groundwater. Furthermore, groundwater will come out from the wire. Groundwater will also shift into the lake or river. Furthermore, the river water will flow into the sea, but some also evaporates along with the seawater and form cools. The water cycle will repeat itself. Human human always need water in daily life. It is used for household necessities such as washing, cooking, bathing. Agriculture such as watering plants, irrigation rice fields, industry and of power generation. The process of the water cycle cannot be observed directly with the next eye. Therefore, we need a learning media that makes it easier for students to understand the material. To make it clear in understanding the description of the water cycle, let's take a look at the video.
Dan apa itu siklus air? Siklus air adalah sirkulasi atau perputaran air secara terus-menerus dari bumi ke atmosfer, lalu kembali lagi ke bumi. Secara garis besar, siklus air melalui 3 tahapan, yaitu penguapan, pembentukan awan, dan terjadinya hujan. Air di laut, sungai, dan danau menguap karena terkena panas matahari. Proses penguapan tersebut disebut evaporasi. Tumbuhan juga mengeluarkan uap air ke udara akibat panas matahari. Proses penguapan yang berasal dari tumbuhan disebut transpirasi. Uap air dari permukaan bumi akan naik ke udara dan membentuk awan. Kumpulan uap air tersebut akan mengalami pengembunan membentuk titik-titik air. Proses tersebut disebut kondensasi. Lalu angin akan membawa awan ke daratan atau dataran tinggi. Selanjutnya titik-titik air di awan akan turun menjadi hujan. Proses ini disebut presipitasi. Lalu air akan mengalir ke dataran rendah dan menciptakan suatu siklus yang berlangsung secara terus-menerus.
Well, that's the material explanation from today's mother. I can be conclude that the process of the hydrological cycle of the water cycle takes place. The sun plays a very important role in the hydrological process. This hydrological process can run because of sunlight, which can trigger the evaporation of seawater so that it is lifted into the air and turns into water vapor, which in turn becomes rain that falls to earth, then absorbed by the soil and water exposed to sunlight evaporation again. Okay, students, we as the young generation of Indonesia must preserve the nature around us because it is very important for the next life. And I think that all we're talking about today. Thank you for listening to me. Stay motivated. See you next week. Wassalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.